The home stretch in Georgia with Election Day there now just 8 days away. It is a week from tomorrow. Not a ton of polling on these races, but the numbers that are out show Republicans Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in virtual ties with Democrats Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. Since those races will determine who controls the Senate, they're attracting national attention and big names are coming to the state to campaign. President Trump has been to Georgia once already. He's set to return next Monday. That's the night before the runoffs. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have also spent time campaigning on the ground in Georgia. And Georgians are excited. More than 2 million people have already voted, so turnout already considered huge. Our field producer Annie Anderson has been on the ground in Georgia for weeks following the candidates, and she's been speaking with voters there.
In Georgia, more than 2.1 million voters have already cast their ballots for the runoff election. It's news that has Democrats in the Peach State feeling optimistic.
Georgians are motivated. They are ready to vote and make their voice heard and make sure that their voice is counted. And so the job for us is just making sure that they are aware of how quickly they are running out of time to cast their votes.
They really came out to vote to turn Georgia blue for Joe Biden, and I think we're going to do it again this year.
Georgia has about 7.7 million registered voters. That means about 28% of them have already voted.
This is one of the locations here in Fulton County where voters can drop off their ballots. Now, Fulton County is unique for Georgia because it's not a county that Democrats are worried about losing. This is Atlanta and its downtown area. But Fulton County is still important for Georgia Democrats because they say it's a place where they really want to run up the score in this election.
So far, about 285,000 people in Fulton County have already voted, or about 34%. That's higher than the state average, but not as high as State Representative Matthew Wilson would like.
It gives me pause, but again, looking at the number of people we have registered and the turnout from November, I'm feeling very optimistic. Of course, we're working against, for the runoff, we're working against the holidays.
Recent polling shows Reverend Raphael Warnock 1 point ahead of current Senator Kelly Loeffler, and Democrat Jon Ossoff trailing his opponent, Senator David Perdue, by 1 point. The closeness in this race has State Representative-elect Shay Roberts urging Georgians to early vote.
I am living proof that every vote counts. I flipped my state house seat by only 377 votes. Your vote could make the difference for the U.S. Senate.
In November's election, Fulton County accounted for about 15% of President-elect Biden's votes in Georgia. That's why, while voter turnout is still lower than she would like, Roberts feels positive Fulton County will show up to vote.
We are, out in the neighborhoods every day, knocking doors, dropping literature on the phones, texting, having vote rallies, and I really feel the momentum and the excitement to change the leadership in the U.S. Senate.
A lifelong Georgian, Wilson never thought he would see a time when Georgia would be so tight that turnout could be the main factor in which party controls the Senate.
Just watching elections in Georgia over the last 30 some odd years, I never would have believed that the eyes of the whole country would be laser focused on Georgia for a runoff that determines who controls the Senate and ultimately whether the Biden administration is going to be able to advance their legislative agenda or not.
Representatives from the Perdue and Loeffler campaigns did not respond to questions for comments about this.
And for more, we head back to Georgia, where Annie Anderson continues to report for us from Fulton County. Annie, as the drama in Washington has played out over stimulus checks and President Trump's complaints that they're too small, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler have been campaigning on those checks in their efforts to get relief to the people of Georgia. It's been a selling point. Then last week, Trump releases his video essentially calling those checks too little too late. It's the kind of moment that gets political wags talking on shows like this one, and on paper seems like might hurt the Republicans. How is the story playing on the ground there? Is it getting a lot of attention? Are people talking about it? Will this tip the scales, or are people just reverting to their partisan positions?
You would think it would. This is people who are hanging in the brink. Mortgages are due, rents are due. But people I've spoke to It doesn't matter to them. They are going to stick with their party no matter what. I spoke to Democrats who say $600 is nothing and it's coming way too late. And they blame Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue for that. But then I talk to Republicans and they say, no, the two sitting senators did a great job really waiting until the Democrats had to be willing to negotiate more and give up some of their demands so that the amount was less. So it really has not made an impact on who people are going to vote for. What this election is really going to be about is turnout. And maybe this stimulus bill will be the thing that gets some Democrats so fired up that they go out to the polls. Or maybe for the Republicans, they are so happy that the stimulus bill and the spending bill is smaller now than Democrats originally wanted. They want to go out to the polls, and that's what's going to make a difference. But there's nobody that I've spoken to who says, oh yeah, it's Kelly Loeffler or David Perdue's vote that made me change my mind. I have not heard that at all.
One additional question, Annie. Do you know if either Loeffler or Perdue have gotten the question about Trump's opposition to those stimulus checks, considering their support for it? Have they been able to handle that question and answer?
You know, I believe that they have. I know they released a statement saying that they are happy that the bill was signed. But those two campaigns are staying pretty mum on all of this. You know, they haven't said if they would support the $2,000 that President Trump called for. And Democrats are really trying to take this and jump on it, saying that this is their opportunity.
Great stuff from Georgia. RFL field producer Annie Anderson. Just a week left. It's a week from tomorrow is the election. Thanks very much. We'll check back with you tomorrow. And up next here on RFL, December has already been the deadliest month since the pandemic started, but Dr. Fauci saying things could get even worse in the new year. After the break, we'll explain why health officials are particularly concerned about the next few weeks.